that was the energy that I was feeling. I just feel like this is a special where I'm kind of, I've grown as a comic. It's, my second one. And I think I'm kind of presenting exactly who I am. And it's kind of like either you gonna mess with it or you're not.
What's going on? I'm Mia Bell. Welcome to BET Talks, and today I have the comedian and the writer, the funniest person in the world, Sam J. Hello.
Hi, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, chilling.
Now, I told you I was revisiting 3 in the morning at 3 in the morning last night when I should have been asleep getting ready for you because I needed a good laugh. Now, first of all, congratulations on everything that you've done in your career because we are marking it, okay? Netflix, HBO, Peacock. Who else do we need on the list? Hulu? We got to get them on?
Nah, not necessarily.
Okay. But you know what? I just love to hear about how you've come to this space because I know it took some time. And, I feel like a lot of people, sometimes they get discouraged when things take time.
Yeah.
But you stay true. And I kind of want you to walk us back to when you were working as a music manager?
Oh, yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first got to Atlanta. Well, when I first got to Atlanta, I was kind of bopping around, just doing a bunch of odd jobs. But then I got with these guys, and they were into music, and I just was looking for a creative outlet.
Right. For
sure, at the time. And we just gelled. We just had good energy together. And we started working together, and we started managing this artist together. It was informative. I feel like I grew a lot in that time and just learned a lot about myself as a leader, as myself as a person who's willing to take risk and kind of put myself out there. So it was definitely an important time for me, for sure.
And it helped kind of shape where you are, would you say, in this space?
Absolutely, absolutely. So many lessons just learned in that space and how to assert yourself, how not to take no for an answer.
Right.
Just all that kind of stuff I definitely applied as I started to step out into a comedy career.
Right.
Or, I guess it's a career now.
It definitely is a career. And I think the hardest career to thrive in. And to start in, too. That's why I asked you about that. Because what kind of gave you the push to say, hey, I'm going to do stand-up?
Ooh.
That's scary, Sam.
Yeah, but I guess I was just tired of how my life was. I mean, really, my life as it was going is what gave me the push. I just didn't really feel like I was living up to my potential. I was kind of in this dead-end job. At least it felt dead-end for me, And I was just kind of this can't be the whole story.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, I gotta try something that I'm really interested in. It's something that I'm passionate about. And I've always just really been into comedy, and I've always kind of been the funny one in the room and always making people laugh, and I always wanted to try it. So I just kind of was like, hey, no time like the present.
And how did you kind of shape that? Because as a comedian, you have to, you have your set. It's not like you just kind of go on stage and just start cracking jokes. Or did you start that way and that kind of helped you?
Yeah. At first, it's kind of at least for me, I was just kind of going up stage and cracking jokes and trying to find my footing up there and, write down little stuff here and there. But I didn't have a full, this is the 10-minute performance. I didn't have anything that thorough. In the beginning, I would kind of just be like, oh, I thought some funny stuff about the Ninja Turtles, and I thought this funny thing about getting on the bus, and I thought this funny,
Right.
Bunch of little random funny thoughts, and you just kind of go on to open mics and seeing what works, kind of throwing stuff up against the wall and seeing what sticks, and it kind of just, that develops into an act, I think.
Right. Now, between that time and then you becoming a writer for SNL, the first black lesbian writer?
I don't know that that's true. People say that, but I don't know that
the first
that's
black lesbian writer that was out?
Maybe.
Now, was it something that, you were searching for, or did it kind of just fall in your lap because you were following your dream?
Yeah, it kind of just came about in the process of, pursuing comedy. And I did a big comedy festival in Montreal called Just for Laughs, and they were there. Some SNL scouts were there, and they saw me. And, they went through my management to see if I'd audition. And it kind of just grew from there, the relationship, and how I ended up writing over there. So, no, it wasn't a thing on the scoreboard of oh, I need to do this. It kind of just came along, and it was, you know, a challenging opportunity. So I was like, all right, I'll try. I was really nervous about it because I had never written before in a writer's room or anything like that. And I, again, wasn't even thinking about SNL. And then suddenly it was like, oh, you're going to be in this like big, intimidating world of sketch writing at the highest level.
Yeah.
But it also just seemed like an opportunity I couldn't turn away from. You know what I mean? So I just was like, all right, sure, let's see what happens type of thing. And it turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life.
Wow. Now, I can only imagine that for you at that point, you know, walking into something that you had no idea really, it makes me think what they were thinking and how amazing and the greenness of it all was probably so much more useful for them in that sense.
Maybe. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can't really have any perspective on it because I was just in it. You know what I mean? Experiencing it every day from my perspective, which was just, don't get fired. You know, like, I'm just going in every day being like, don't get fired, don't get fired, don't get fired. And kind of just hoping that I'm doing enough to not get fired. So I don't,
and did.
Yeah, and did, I guess. So I don't know, like, from their perspective, if that was, like, part of the plan or so. I don't know. I felt like an idiot pretty much every day, so I was just dealing with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it worked out.
Yeah,
for the best.
To say, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and I had to learn how to do the job. So it was just a learning gap, and there was space in it where I was just like, you have no idea what you were doing, and it was true. Yeah. But, you know, I figured it out.
And then as things got bigger for you, you know, more specials, we're seeing you now on these streaming outlets. What was that energy for you? Because now this is a bigger platform.
I don't know. I just feel like with every opportunity, you know, there's more challenges within it. And I'm just trying to get better every time. And I look at everything as just an opportunity to do just that, to learn something I may not have known coming into it, and to grow in my craft, and to just keep adding like tools to my toolkit. So for me, I think I'm always just coming from the perspective of like the worker of this situation. And I'm always just trying to, you know, make sure I'm executing at the highest level that I can execute, make sure that I'm putting all my effort into it, make sure I'm not shortchanging myself in any way. So I don't know if I'm ever stepping into any of those opportunities like, whoa, this is like a bigger moment. I think that kind of like flashes by your head for a second, and then it's like time to get to work, you know, for lack of a better word. It's like time to get in there and do your job, you know what I mean?
Of course, and from your perspective, but from me, when I see it, I'm like, whoa, this is the next big thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
As a fan, for sure. Now, what about some of your inspirations and other comedians who you look to in that sense?
I mean, I feel like comedy has been, for me at least, this really great and supportive community on like every level, from like, you know, the veterans of this thing who have been around, Killing It Forever, to the comics that I came up with in my class, for lack of a better word. So I kind of get my support and inspiration from like all levels of comedy, you know. The friends I'm coming up with right now, the Reggie Conquesters of the world, the Kevin Isos of the world, you know, Michael Che, like those guys who I consider my peers, Amina, you know, Sydney Washington, Marie Faustine, Dulce Sloan. Like, you know, we all kind of came up together. And I think at times we all pulled inspiration from each other, you know, and watching all of us just stick with it and not give up on our dreams and the different places that we're going with stuff, you know. People are starting to write plays, and you know, people are starting to like step off and direct a little bit. So it's just cool to see everybody stepping up and changing and growing within that. And I definitely pull inspiration from that, my peer group, all the time. And then, you know, as far as like the Wanda Sykes and the Dave Chappelle's and the Chris Rocks and, you know, the Eddie Murphys and all those people who kind of came before me and laid tracks so that I could be doing what I'm doing, how could you not, you know, find inspiration in that? And I can say every time I've met one of these individuals, you know, I feel like they've always taken the time to drop a jewel or two on me and just try to help me grow as a comic. So in that regard, I just feel really lucky for the people that I've been blessed to encounter within this.
Right. Now, as a comedian, does any of this like climate that we're living in now, as far as cancel culture and things that we can and cannot say, you know, does that ever come into play when you are creating, or are you just like, hell no, I'm a comic?
I mean, I think, of course, you can't not think about it because you're making comedy for people. And so you're always thinking, at least for me, you know, also, you know, comedy is a lot of social commentary. So you're going to be thinking about the temperature of society and, you know, what the societal do's and don'ts are of the day. But I do also think it's our job as comics to challenge those do's and don'ts and, you know, to question them and not to just always go along with the group think. So, I mean, in that regard, I'm like, no, I'm going to, you know, say what I want to say and do what I want to do. But I try to do that with the consideration of what's going on around me. You know what I mean? Not ignorant to what's happening and what conversations are, you know, going on right now.
Do you share your set with anyone before you go live with it to see, like, what their reaction is?
No.
Never?
No. Because I work out a lot of my stuff on stage, so it's kind of like hard to do. It's like, I don't even know if it's good or bad till I'm up there saying it, and then I'm kind of starting to change stuff and move stuff. So it would be weird to be like, all right, what y'all think it is? Like, that'd be so weird. You just got to go do it. Yeah.
Right. That's why I say it's such a... Well, what I would think so hard to do is so different than music where you're able to play this for someone. It? You literally have to test it out.
Yes, for sure. But that's the fun part.
Right.
That's the best part of it.
So what do you do when a crowd is maybe not vibing with the joke as much as you thought they would?
There's really nothing you can do. You just gotta agree to disagree at that moment. And, you know, keep on going. You could try to change the joke for the crowd, but there's really you don't know what they're gonna like or not like. You know, you're just kind of shooting in the dark, especially when you're first building it. So sometimes it's just like they don't like it.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
And as a comic, I'm sure you have tough skin to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. So you can't, you know, they're not gonna like everything. That would be ridiculous.
Right, of course. Now, what draws me in always are the titles of these specials, because I know they come from something deep. Sometimes.
Yeah, I was just saying sometimes.
Or sometimes it's just, you know, really out there. Salute Me or Shoot Me. Where did that come from and why?
Honestly, it's the name of a old Waka Flocka mixtape series.
Okay.
And I just felt like that was the energy that I was feeling. I just feel like this is a special where I'm kind of, you know, I've grown as a comic. It's, you know, my second one. And I think I'm kind of presenting exactly who I am. And it's kind of like either you gonna mess with it or you're not. But, you know, those of you who want to take this ride, we're gonna have a good time. And for those of you who'd like to get off here, I suggest this is the stop that you get off. So it just kind of felt like that's what the special was embodying. And I was living in, you know, the south side of Georgia in Clayton County at the time that, you know, these first few mixtapes came out, and the energy was just super hype, and it was just so like, I'm here to make my statement, and it's my time. And I was feeling that energy as I was in the creation process of this thing, and it just felt like the perfect name.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, how different would you say it is from 3 in the Morning? Like, as far as the growth and the experiences.
For me, I see the growth, you know, like I've had to watch it a bunch to edit it. So I probably will never watch it again. But no.
You're over it?
I can't stand watching myself. It's like so hypercritical.
What's your sign, by the way?
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay, earth sign.
Yes, but I feel like I watched it and I felt the growth. And I hope that's what really people take away. Of course, I hope people think it's hilarious. That's always the goal. But if you've been a fan, I hope what you see is, you know, a true maturation of me as a comic and how I've really just, you know, grown in my skill set. And I think that's what I always want, is just to be better than the last time I did it. And I feel like it definitely is better. And so I'm super proud of it.
That's beautiful. And we can't wait to see it, of course.
Yes.
We cannot wait. Now, what about in the future? Are you thinking about growing in spaces like directing and doing more on the creative end? Or are we super focused and honed in on comedy right now?
I mean, for right now, I am going to go back to touring as soon as the special drops. I'm just really into being on stage right now. Like, I don't know. It just seems to be where it's all clicking at this moment.
Yeah.
But I'm open to creativity. Like, I like being creative. And so I'm never like a one-track mind when it comes to creating. You know, I get very involved in my specials. I get very involved in what it's going to look like, what it's going to be lit like, what it's going to sound like, how the coloring after fact is going to, like, I'm very into it. So I just like the creative process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm always open to learning more about that.
And what advice would you give to comedians that are on the come up and they are trying to work this thing out? Because it is not easy.
Keep going. Do the jokes that scare you. And don't really listen to too many people.
Yeah, you can't. Too many opinions alter yours.
100%.
I love that. Sam J, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
you. You were great. We cannot wait for this comedy special.
I'm excited for you to see it.
Yes, I can't wait to laugh, girl.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.